Then we can fill for a couple minutes just to make sure that the actual file actually freaking starts. Because the one time we don't will be the one time that it doesn't start for like 2 minutes for some reason.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
So let's fill this space like it's filling with jam.
So what were you guys talking about when I went to pee? Did D&D have some sort of patch?
Yeah, it turns out, shamans no longer take damage. So, you know, that's a thing.
I remember that wow that Penny Arcade comic.
Yep. Yeah, it was something like it was like fixed a fixed a uh, fixed a bug where magic missile would work on occasion, which I've never played WoW, but I guess magic missile doesn't work terribly well on there, which is funny because then I started playing D&D and magic missile is like incredibly solid.
Oh,
It's
magic missile
super
works very
reliable.
well in WoW.
Okay.
It's really
But no, we
weird.
were
In one of the
just
last odds and ends I just posted, we had rated Cap, and she was playing WoW at the time and was in the middle of a raid, and like I kept just while Mike and I were talking, I kept just staring at the screen, going, "Why do people watch this?" And then I thought about it. I'm like, "Why do people play this?" Because it was just like boring. Like everyone was standing in one spot and clicking things, and occasionally they would all like dodge something, and then they would go back to their spot and keep clicking. And I'm like, "This is a video game?" Wow. No pun intended.
wait, they were clicking and dodging? Holy crap, man. This sounds like
Right?
the Super Bowl. Yeah.
It was some kind of raid boss, and like the party wiped, and they started again, and just did the exact same thing. And I'm just going, I don't. All right.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Blue roll.
I mean,
It's kind of like
at least that's entertaining.
it's kind of like beach volleyball. Most people are like, but a segment of the population is like, woo.
At least they're all dressed scantily. I guess. Wow, a bunch of them are too.
True.
Oh Lord. Okay, so that's that's almost 3 minutes. Surely the file has started now. Let's do the thing.
Do the thing.
Yeah. Also, hate Cardboard Samurai. I don't remember if I said that or not. Okay, here we go. Now, jam. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is, believe it or not, episode 650 of the Mana Pool. Holy crap. And we're not doing anything special because like at 650 no one cares anymore.
It's like, wow, you guys have been around for a while.
Considering I think we were supposed to hit 650 like last year sometime.
For the first
I think it's
several years, we were pretty consistent.
First of many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when the world ended, we all found we had more important things to worry about, and I think we've skipped more episodes since the plague happened, like than in any however long since the plague has been. If you double that amount of time, I think we have skipped more episodes in that time than double the amount of time before that.
Oh, absolutely.
Easily.
100%.
Possibly triple. Like
Could be.
Just the number of either we don't feel like it because everything's horrible, or more just acknowledging we've got other stuff we got to do, or a number of just straight up we're just getting together and chatting and not turning it into a numbered episode or anything, just because we just need to have human connection without talking about magic. Plus, then we also haven't played Magic. So,
I vaguely
all of
remember
these factors together. If it weren't for Arena, I probably would be like, what's a permanent card?
It's one of those ones you
Does that
just
mean
can't freaking get rid of.
I have to tattoo it to myself, right? Just, you know, get a little mock sapphire on my bicep right here. It's not a very big biceps. It's probably going to have to be something really small, like a token.
Anyway.
But today we are here to talk about magic, right?
Yay.
Yes.
Yay!
So, since we sort of skipped over this part, hi, I'm Chewy.
Hi.
There we go. And we got these other dorks here talking too. So, hi, dorks.
Hey, I'm Brian. I am the lead rambler and tangent master of the group. I'm still hanging in there, and I hope everybody else is too. I usually have some sort of attempted witty aside that everybody else tries to pick up on, and here I'll just say I don't have as much hair as I used to. That's all I got.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and game lore guy. Not so much as I used to be on that last one. I'm just kind of fallen off with all the releases and storyline and everything. And I have way more hair than I used to.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And I have, approximately the same amount of hair as I had a year ago. Definitely not like 10 years ago.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
I also have way more hair than I've ever had, but anyone who hangs out on the stream regularly probably knows that. If you pay any attention at all. It's very long now.
Oh, well.
I do find it really weird that one day, not that long ago, like I just didn't have a headset on and didn't have my hair up, and I was playing something, and someone who's in the stream all the time was like, "Holy crap, where'd all that hair come from?" I was like, "Really? Really?" But then, of course, last night the same guy popped up and said, "Oh, new background decorations," because I've got LEDs on the back of the entertainment center behind me that has all the nerd stuff. And I was like, "It's been that way for like a month or more, dude. You've been here for a bunch of those streams." He's so cute. But anyway, that's a nice time to point out that, hey, we do this live on Thursday nights. You should totally come hang out with us.
It's true.
Like we're doing right now, because it's Thursday night. So, that's twitch.tv/themanapool. That's also where I stream all the other stuff. Oh my god, you guys, Rogue Legacy 2 is so good.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
He said, I think, in a post that it has all the stuff you liked about the first one and just makes it better.
Just everything is like, I loved Rogue Legacy. Rogue Legacy 2 is the first one, but literally everything is just improved. The graphics are better, the gameplay is better. All of the classes actually are different, like massively. Like all the classes in the original had the big ass sword, I think, except for like the Dragon Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone else still had a big ass sword. A few things were different here and there, but by and large, it was big ass sword. And now there's like every class has its own weapon and abilities and plays drastically differently. Oh, it's so good.
Cool. So it's like going from Kingdom Hearts 1, which is a very, very good game by every metric, to Kingdom Hearts 2, which I don't think anyone has ever told me is not just a strict improvement.
It's great.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 is not a great game by every metric, but by most of them. Some of the controls, man. Anyway.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those. How did Yahtzee put it on Zero Punctuation? It's a sequel so good that we no longer need the original, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Yeah. But anyway, this is not Rogue Legacy. That's just the thing I've been streaming lately. So
It's what you got going on.
yeah, it's also going up on YouTube slowly, in like 45-minute chunks. That started off as like hour and a half chunks. I'm really, really working my editing skills on that. But anyway. Also, just while we're doing updates, actually, there was something I was gonna follow that up with, and it completely fell off.
Man, I'm like on the edge of my seat, and I'm like, oh, something I don't know about. What's this gonna be?
I have no idea. We're all fine
while
here.
we're on-
How are you?
While we're on the topic of updates, things.
And also stuff. All right, so what we're actually here to talk about this week is apparently it's called Battle for Baldur's Gate. No, I'm sorry, it's called Commander Legends: Battle for Baldur's Gate, which I only ever knew. Like my brain is just, oh yeah, the Baldur's Gate set. I never knew the full name.
So this isn't, just so we're all clear, and I'm asking this for myself as well. This is not like a pre-constructed commander deck.
No, Commander Legends was that draftable commander set, and this is another one of those.
Right. So it's kind of like Conspiracy or something else. This is a supplemental draftable set.
Yeah, it's their draft innovation.
Except it's Commander Draft.
It's Commander, which I remember the first Commander set, I'm using the air quotes, had like the just, hey, if you didn't get a commander, here's like a colorless dude that can be your commander, right? So
I think this one has that too.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I had the right mindset in mind. Okay. So, it's a draftable set, and you are encouraged to play it in Commander. And it's based off of Baldur's...
Commander drafting, yeah.
Right. And it's based off of Baldur's Gate, which I don't know a whole lot about. Chewy, I think you're the one that's played it, right? So...
I'm really amazed that none of you three have played at least the first Baldur's Gate, which I thought everyone played the first Baldur's Gate.
What system was it on?
PC.
Yeah,
oh, that'd probably be why.
I'm kind of surprised I never did either.
I played a couple of PC games, but not many. Console Wars, baby.
I mean, me too, but even I played Baldur's Gate.
Played
It's very strange.
Well, no, I'm gonna get us off on a different topic, so never mind.
Fair enough.
I played like Doom on the PC, and there was like a game where you played a spaceship and you flew to like different planets and blew them up because robots. And I don't remember Descent.
Descent.
Yeah, I played the heck out of Descent, but I did not play Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is set in the D&D universe, correct?
It's in Forgotten Realms, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Minsk was in Forgotten Realms, and Minsk was from Baldur's Gate, so, yeah.
He has the gerbil, right?
Yeah. Go for the eyes, boo. He's a miniature giant space hamster. Get it right.
Sorry. so Baldur's Gate on the PC, it was a RPG, I'm assuming?
Yeah, one of those weird... Okay, I'm not up on my old PC game classifications,
Lingo?
but it was one of those top-down, sort of kind of turn-based RPGs where like you could pause at any point and input some actions for your characters to do, or you could do it in real time if you wanted. And it used D&D rules, like Fako. Yeah.
Which I heard about that a while ago. At one point, I actually had to Google what is Fako, and I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm glad we don't use that rule anymore.
Yeah, Fako is just to hit armor class 0.
It's just an unnecessary extra calculation step.
And armor class in old D&D was kind of stupid because the lower the number, the better.
Right.
Yeah, it represented like a modifier that affected the attack roll. So negative armor class was really good, and positive armor class was not so great.
Which is exactly the opposite of how it works now.
Yeah, I think it was based on the rules for like an even older, like a naval wargaming book or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
I have no idea. I'm just going, yeah.
Yeah. But you enjoyed playing Baldur's Gate?
I mean, sorta. I never really got terribly far into it because it's kind of, what's the word, balls hard.
Wow.
Like, well, at least it was for me as a kid. Like, I would get a little way in, and then I would die. Okay, hang on. Baldur's Gate.
Some of the older games, you know, they don't mess around.
Baldur's Gate came out in 98, which means I played it in 98. So when I say a kid, I mean a senior in high school.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about like 98. We're talking about 24, 25 years ago at this point. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
But I'm glad you said that because I was about to draw a comparison to like Battletoads, which, you know, Battletoads at that point was old. So thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. But like I would gather up my party, I'd get MON. Hey, it's me, MON. And Minsk. And then I'd head out, and then I'd get murdered by spiders. And then I'd reload, and I'd head out in a different direction, and I'd get murdered by... actually, spiders. Huh.
Talking about a game, not the real world. Spiders are your enemy in every universe?
Apparently, yeah.
Apparently.
Oh, well. So, we've got the mechanics article open here.
Okay.
And we have something called backgrounds.
So just a fair warning to the audience, I have literally not read any of this stuff. So.
And I have read literally very little. So, backgrounds are legendary enchantments with the type, at least I guess they're all legendary, these two are, with the type background. And they're a new type of enchantment. Yes, thank you, Jess. Legendary background cards represent the story that brought your commander to the point where we find them now. Each one gives your commander a bonus that will help them, and therefore you. In the game, most often this bonus comes in the form of an ability your commander gains or a boost to their power and or toughness. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're legendary, but there's nothing saying you can only have one. Like, I know what legendary means. Like, you can't have more than one permanent with this name on the battlefield. Is there anything that says you can't have more than one battleground, period? Like, there's two pictured here. Can I have both?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I assume this will get answered in a minute, and Brian just can't be bothered to wait.
Nope.
So, just as an example, we've got Noble Heritage for 1 and a white. That says, commander creatures you own have. When this creature enters the battlefield, and at the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. For each opponent who does, you gain protection from that player until your next turn.
A really interesting politics card. But so, just having this out by itself isn't enough. You need to have this out and have your commander on the battlefield for this to take effect.
Yeah, otherwise you don't have a commander creature to have that ability, so it just sort of sits there.
Right. Which is probably good because this only costs 2 mana, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one right below it is Cultist of the Absolute that says, commander creatures you own get +3/+3 and have flying, death touch, ward, pay 3 life,
Jeez.
and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it turns them all into horrible, almost Lords of the Pit, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't say sacrifice another creature either, so...
Accurate. So there you go, 2 backgrounds. Now you might be wondering, and for those of you that haven't been paying attention to this ahead, I keep looking at the camera as if my face cam's on. It's very
It's because you're a streamer. Yeah.
I guess. But for those of you that might be going, and So, well, that's because there's also uh I don't know if this is a mechanic or a just some text on cards, but it's choose a background. And
Hmm.
it's something. Hey Mike, did you know what this does?
Yes, I do. I saw this on Facebook the other day. So, some of the commanders in the set have an ability that says choose a background. It's a special variant of the partner ability, which means that if they're your commander, you can also have a background to go with them that also starts the game in the command zone.
Ooh.
But you get to pick the background. It doesn't necessarily say
Right. There's not a
shoot.
predefined one that goes with each one.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so pretend
this,
that choose a background was actually choose a enchantment partner.
yeah.
And now
Yeah.
you'll understand. Or if it just said enchantment partner, then you get the gist.
hmm
Yes. Okay.
I choose opalescence. No, I don't. That'd be awful. So the example given here is Volo, Itinerant Scholar. For 2 and a blue, a 2/3 legendary human wizard, and Volo is at Mythic. That's a lot of words. When Volo enters the battlefield, create Volo's Journal, a legendary colorless artifact token with hexproof, and whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of its creature types that hasn't been noted for this artifact. Okay, so you write down creature types in the journal. Now, Volo has an activated ability, pay 2 and tap. Draw a card for each creature type noted for target permanent you control named Volo's Journal. And then Volo can also choose a background. So, with the examples we have so far, Volo could either have a noble heritage or could secretly be a cultist of the Absolute. Or, a
And you
zillion
knew
other
it.
things. Yeah.
That hat was a dead giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
But as we get further into this, like the previous Commander Legends set, there's plenty of um, Legends at uncommon as well, since you'll be drafting, help you pick up stuff. So you don't have to rely on the rare slot to be able to build a deck. And many of them can choose a background as well. So you get a chance to make your own little customized commander, which is really cool, I think.
This is fascinating. I've been listening to you, but I've also been reading the notes under here. Under the notes, they say that if you start the background in the command zone with this commander, that background functions as second commander for your deck, and it has a different. It can have a different color identity from the legendary creature,
Yeah.
and it essentially creates. So if you pick the white one with Volo, you can have a white blue deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like I said,
Yeah.
it essentially says background partner.
Right.
Yes.
And I think, Chewy, your explanation was very. It answered most of the follow up questions I would have. So,
Yeah.
ah, yeah. Now, obviously, if both are in your command zone, playing one does not get you the other. You still have to pay for them separately.
Well, yeah.
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 And like the rest of the rules for partner, the commander tax is tracked separately for each one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I get it. I
Also,
like
it should
things
be
that.
pointed out that Volo stands for "We only live once." Screw you, I'm funny. All right.
I have
I like
no response. Um, he Volo got a card in the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms set where he was the one that encouraged you to play with creatures of lots of different types. So good to see the same sort of theme coming through here as well. But you know me, I'm a big fan in anything that makes allows for more customization. So here with backgrounds, not only can you have, oh well, this is my commander, but with the backgrounds it really says this is my commander and this is a different way to interpret that commander. So I am in favor of this. Yes, this is good. I approve.
Hang on. my brain just reread his activated ability. Draw a card for each creature type noted for target permanent you control. Oh, named Volo's Journal. I didn't finish reading that before my brain got confused.
It must have to be worded that way, but I agree with you. It's a little bit of a word salad.
In other words, for each creature type that's been noted, draw a card.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there must be a rules reason that reads like it had to go around my elbow to get to my... Anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's to avoid weird stuff if you're able to have more than one copy of the journal on the battlefield with shenanigans.
That feels like it's probably it, yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's probably it.
So is there anything else about Choose a Background? It's actually, if you know how Partner works, you know how Choose a Background works.
Yeah.
And
from then on, it's just a matter of what are the commanders and what are the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now we've got this other new thing called
Okay.
the Initiative. This is where Wizards is trying to figure out... I was gonna just put in some sort of terrible joke here, but about an initiative to figure out who's gonna keep giving them money and who's eventually gonna stop, and then weed out all the people that are gonna stop. But I couldn't make it work on short notice.
Now, this is something where the stuff I saw on Facebook, like, I didn't know what the initiative was until I read this article, like, today, when you sent it to us.
It's sort of like the
It's sort of like the Monarch, except it's dungeon related.
Yeah, the Monarch. There we go.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
In that
It
it's
has
a
nothing to
thing
do-
that doesn't exist until it does, and then I think someone always has it,
Yeah.
right? I think that's right.
So it doesn't have anything to do with first strike or double strike or attacking. It.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right, so it says there are... Oh, it does say similar to the Monarch. Oh, look at that. I haven't read this part yet, can you tell? I've just been piecing it all together. All right, so it says there are 3 ways for a player to take initiative. The most direct way is cards like the White Plume Adventurer. So the White Plume Adventurer, for 2 and a white, is a 3/3 Orc Cleric. When it enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Gimme that. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature you control. If you've completed a dungeon, untap all creatures you control instead. Buh. Now, you remember dungeons?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I'm going to need a refresher on that. I'm
Yeah,
sure we'll
there's
get to it
3
in a minute.
dungeons.
Yeah.
There's 3 dungeons, and when you venture into the dungeon, if you're not already in one, you pick one and you start it. If you're already in one, you advance to the next square in that dungeon until you've completed it.
Yeah. And to skip ahead a little bit, there's another dungeon, at least one,
Oh, really?
maybe more, in this set. Well, they only talk about it as if they're just one. There's another dungeon, the Undercity, and taking the initiative is the only way to enter the Undercity. But otherwise, once you get into the Undercity by taking the initiative, or if you're already in a dungeon, taking the initiative will make you venture into the dungeon, further into the dungeon you're in. But otherwise, the Undercity is a really cool dungeon. It's really long, and all of the effects are positive things. There aren't any bad things in there.
Oh,
I think
like
the
Tomb of
I think the
Annihilation.
Tomb of Annihilation is that the only one with negative stuff in it?
That's the only one with negative stuff. Some of the stuff in the other ones are like some, you may have to wait for a payout, but Tomb of Annihilation was the only one that actually had negative things for the person in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So
So
that's
this
the first
says-
way.
Undercity says you can't enter this dungeon unless you venture into the Undercity. And I'm like, why would they print that on cards? But it doesn't. It says players can enter Undercity using only the new keyword action venture into Undercity. Venture into Undercity. I can English. A special version of venture into the dungeon. Players venture into Undercity. I can't English. Players venture into Undercity when they take the initiative, and if they still have the initiative at the beginning of their upkeep.
Basically, by creating this new dungeon, they don't allow any sort of backwards compatible, like, hey, this is a fourth dungeon for you to pick from your old stuff.
Yeah.
You've got to use the new thing.
I'm guessing because it's not balanced with the old stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in here that says, oh, there's actually a paragraph that explains it. If you're already in the Undercity, then using a venture into the dungeon effect will let you advance in the Undercity.
Ah.
They do verify that paragraph down
here. But you can only get in there when you venture into the Undercity.
Yeah, but you have to take the initiative to get in there. Yeah.
Yeah, which
that's
Why is this so complicated?
Hell,
venture into the Undercity, it sounds like is not printed anywhere. You just have to know that.
Yeah, you do.
So it sounds like they wanted to have their cake. It sounds like they had two ideas here. They had initiative and they had the Undercity, and they decided that they were going to work together. But
yeah, having the little initiative token is really the only way to know that that's how you get into the Undercity.
Oh, there's an initiative token that explains. Oh, look at that!
Yeah,
I scrolled right past it because I was getting to the dungeon. Okay, well, at least this exists. Thank God.
You got to finish reading before you get mad, Chewy. Go on.
Well, you were saying that there were three ways to take the initiative. The first one is with White Plume
I couldn't finish reading, Mike, because somebody jumped ahead to the next section.
Okay, yes, you're right. Sorry.
What are the other ways?
I'm just mad at everybody, except for Dirk. Dirk, I love you.
Oh.
I was just making sure you were alive.
Oh.
Okay, so 3 ways to take the initiative. First is to play something that says take the initiative. Just like the old, you become the monarch. The second way to take the initiative is to attack the player who currently has the initiative. Seems like that would work out poorly for you if they have the initiative and you attack them, but I don't play D&D, so I could be wrong.
It's the initiative. It's not the high ground. That's something completely different. Don't ever attack the guy with the high ground. But the initiative, sure.
So, if a creature you control deals combat damage to the player who has the initiative, then now you take the initiative. So, the monarchy works that way too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the third way to take the initiative is if the player who currently has the initiative leaves the game. And when that happens, whoever's turn it is, when that player leaves the game, you get the initiative. So if you murder one of your opponents, then... and it's your turn, then you have the initiative. That makes sense, actually.
Technically, I like how they word this. They said leaves the game, which means if I am just sick to death of this game and it's Mike's turn and I wait until Chewy's turn to quit, then Chewy has the initiative. So, I mean, you're jumping right to killing somebody. I'm jumping right to somebody else leaving in a huff. So, maybe
this says a lot about our mindsets, I think.
Yeah. So this to me feels basically like we wanted a new dungeon. Here's the monarchy again, but different. But by different, I mean not at all different. This is the monarch of the dungeon.
Pretty much. So, while we're on the initiative, it says, why do you want the initiative? There are 3 significant bonuses. First, whenever a player takes the initiative, they venture into the Undercity, which, yeah, we covered that. Second, the player with the initiative ventures into Undercity again at the beginning of their upkeep. And third, several cards in the set get better if you have the initiative. So there's no innate, monarchy thing, like drawing a card. It's all just Undercity centric.
Well, there's the venturing at the beginning of your upkeep.
Right, but that requires you to have an Undercity token and know what you're doing, which I'm guessing is on the back of the initiative because they're both labeled 20 of 20.
Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah, they're both labeled 20 of 20. That's interesting. That's
But
weird.
I mean, it is. You're right. It is the same thing. It's always the same with the monarchy, and in the Undercity, it's whatever the next step is. So, it's a little more fancy, I guess is the word, than being the monarch, or maybe even schmancy.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember seeing a couple things posted in the Manipool Discord, Baldur's Gate preview thread that said if you have the initiative, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I still don't like that it's tied to the Undercity, and the Undercity is like a standalone dungeon that doesn't interact with other dungeon stuff except for taking extra steps. But like the fact that there is a card that explains what's going on, and it's apparently the other side of the Undercity, it makes it a little less awful, but it's still kind of awful. Once again, it seems like they're creating this because, oh, well, digital will take care of all the troublesome stuff. Like, even Volo. Dude, Volo means you have to have a notepad handy.
Yeah, you have to.
Or, like, I guess everyone has a phone these days, and everyone has a notepad app on their phone. So that's slightly less hassle, but...
You just play it in Dark's elf deck, and you just write down the word elf once, and you're good to go.
Mutant. Don't forget
Oh,
mutant.
Yeah.
dang it.
Lord.
Wizard.
Is Lord still a thing?
No.
No.
Oh.
Dark, I was doing a thing, and you had to be all like...
Oh, Lord.
Exactly.
But, But okay, this is the sort of thing that I started off mad at it. Now I'm just sort of generally frustrated at it, like I am with most things WotC does these days. So okay, it's not that bad. I recant most of my initial ire.
It's not worth getting upset over. So.
Yeah. That there's probably something later that will be.
Probably.
Undercity as a concept is cool and adds flavor to the game.
Yeah.
Is there a better way to have done this? Probably.
Yeah, I'd have to have someone sit down and explain to me why they couldn't just handle this with just relate taking the initiative to venturing into the dungeon just in general. But
Yeah.
I'm not
Make everything like it was, but just say, instead of entering into the dungeon, this is
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Now, I would like to point out, if you're not playing in anything sanctioned, you can always just make a house rule that says venture into the dungeon, works with the Undercity, and ignore this little line of text here on the Undercity. Just saying. This is the thing that people seem to forget these days, at least people who hang out on the internet and listen to podcasts and do this sort of thing, is that house rules are a thing. If a card's banned in Commander and you don't want to not play with it, and you only play with like your play group, and they say it's okay, then it's okay. Just saying.
Yep. Maybe you traded real hard for that Primeval Titan, and you're like, yes. And then they're like, ugh. But if your group is like, it's cool, then you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You're still not allowed to play 2 Heartwood Storytellers in your deck, Brian.
That is correct. We did not agree to that house rule.
No.
All
just
right.
like the other house rule of no 2 sliver decks being played at the same time.
Oh, no, but that's great. You just,
Oh.
So, do we want to mention what the Undercity does, or we're just...
Nah, it's another dungeon. If you want to know, look it up.
Okay.
It's all just little things.
There are little rooms you go into, and each room has a thing that gives you a buff or a thing.
Create a treasure, draw a card, get a 4/1 with menace, blah, 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 whatever.
Okay. So, and they're all positive things. So
Yeah.
there's no, like, you lose the game, so...
and you can only go to the room that has an arrow that lets you go to the next room. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go sideways through a wall. You have to progress through the rooms that there are arrows for you to go to.
It's even got the little grid background like a Clue board.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just walk through the wall when you're playing Clue. You're not a freaking ghost. You're looking for a murderer. Ghosts don't look for murderers. Ghosts know who murdered them.
Yeah.
That's why they're there.
Side note, Professor Plum is sus.
Yes, yes, he is.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do Baldur's Gate. Because look, there's a card called Baldur's Gate.
Dude, they said the thing.
Roll credits.
Hey, Mike, what does Baldur's Gate do?
So Baldur's Gate is a rare legendary land with the Gate subtype.
They did. Oh dear Lord!
Cool.
Oh,
well, now there are 12.
A mistake?
Now there are 12 unique gates. No, I don't think so. So it can tap for one colorless, or you can pay 2 and tap it and add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of other gates you control.
Oh, is this going to be the only gate in the set? I guess that's not too bad. I was thinking, man, if they've got like a cycle of gates, then this is just going to be crazy with the Maze's End decks.
Also,
but I guess one more gate's okay.
Also, hey Mike, you should read the flavor text.
Okay. Of course I know what eponymous means. It's a little horse. That's from Chris, the gate guard.
I will give.
You got paid to write that.
I will give Wizards a little bit of credit. There was a poll that they posted either yesterday or today on Twitter. That was like, what does eponymous mean, or something like that, and the bottom option was, yep, definitely a little horse. And it just made me happy.
So we have
eponymous, like pony. I don't get it.
Yeah, it like Epony mouse or something, I guess.
It occurs to me that I don't actually know what eponymous means.
It has to do with like self-named or same-named.
Okay, that's sort of what I thought. So that's
Baldur's Gate, yeah.
Yeah, eponymous of a person
giving their name to something.
Giving their name to something of a thing named after a particular person.
Oh,
so
okay.
Baldur's Gate is eponymous because it's apparently named after Baldur.
Like Charleston, if it was named after a guy named Charles.
That guy sucks.
Which it probably was.
Mm-hmm. So Jay Spencer says in the chat there are several gates in this set, but I haven't seen any others, so oh well.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't make any sense for this to be the only gate, but I was going to let Brian come to that organically, but I don't think he was going to.
Nope.
Because 2 and tap to add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of gates you control, and this is the only gate, and it's legendary. It's just a god-awful, terrible card to put in a set.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't, wow.
Yeah. I just thought, okay, it's here for people that want to use it with older cards, but
yeah,
I guess then it'd probably be like an uncommon or something.
It also says some gates, including some found in the set, have abilities that either care about which other gates you control or the number of other gates you control.
Now, why would I take my own advice and read before I get mad?
Accurate. All right, and now Myriad is returning. All right, so Myriad... Okay, hang on. I think I remember this. Myriad is the thing that says... So if I attack Dirk with a creature with Myriad, I make a copy for each other player. So I'd make 2 copies for Mike and Brian that are tapped and attacking each of them. That's Myriad, right?
That's right.
Wake up. So, hey Dirk, you want to read this angel?
Sure. Battle Angels of Tyre. For 2 and 2 white. It's a 4/4 mythic Angel Knight with flying in Myriad. And whenever Battle Angels of Tyre deals combat damage to a player, draw a card if that player has more cards in hand than each other player. When you create a token, a treasure token, then you create a treasure token if that player controls more lands than each other player. Then you gain 3 life if that player has more life than each other player.
Oh my god, it's a weird combat angel balance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but like the up balance,
Not
not
balance.
the down balance.
It's like a weird land tax type thing.
Yeah, yeah, like the. Oh,
This is
dang
really
it.
cool.
Yeah.
In standard, there's a sorcery that's like for 1 and a white. It's like, hey, if the opponent has more life, then you gain some life. If they have more creatures, then you make 2 soldier tokens. If they have more cards, then you draw a card or something. So it's that sort of. It's like a what I call an up balance, not a down where like everybody's like, oh, go down to the lowest. It's more like an up balance, like, hey, people are ahead of you, like land tax, gain some stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
But because you have the option to send these at everybody, you might get like a treasure from that guy. You might get like life from that guy. So
Yeah,
that's
so Mike
interesting.
has the most cards in hand, so if the angel attacking him hits him, I'm gonna draw a card. Dirk has been ramping the hardest, so if my angel
That
that's
makes
attacking him hits
sense.
him, I'll get a treasure. And Brian is probably at more life because he's a little behind and we've been, taking it easy on him, so I'll gain 3 life.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
And for that last part, when you're playing, just pay attention to what you're doing. Because this triggers when it deals combat damage, remember to make the comparison with their life total after the damage.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because you're hitting them for 4.
And
It's also a 4/4 angel with flying for 4 mana.
yeah, pretty standard these days, really.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess the quote unquote, I mean, it is mythic, but I guess the quote unquote, balancing factor is you have to get in there in combat for it to do anything.
Yeah, yeah. Now remember, with Myriad, you may create tokens to attack anybody.
Huh.
Like, I could choose to leave Brian alone and just hit Mike and Dirk.
That's no fun.
And, well, you deserve it. And you deserve it. Don't even give me that. And
I guess we're not the type of group to make like alliances quite like that.
Yeah. And then attacking a planeswalker also causes Myriad to trigger.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's important. And also the tokens get exiled. When is it? At the end of combat? At the end of combat, the tokens are exiled. Yeah, so there's no dies trigger or any of that.
That makes sense so that you don't also keep them either around forever or you don't even like get to later in the turn sacrifice them for some other effect. They're there for combat and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, you can still sacrifice them before they're exiled, but you're not going to get free dice triggers.
No sort of sorcery sort of effect. It keeps it. Yeah.
All right. And then adventures are back. You remember adventures, right?
Yeah, from Throne of Eldraine.
Yeah, that set that got, or the thing that got overshadowed because what's name was so broken.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. But they had some neat stuff, like the Beanstalk Giant. Jeez, I saw the Beanstalk Giant for 2 years in Standard because, it was too good to not play.
Yeah, you did.
But a lot of other neat stuff, and the like the Knight that was also the Doomblade sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one.
Yep.
So we've
So
got
what are these adventures?
We've got a nice easy common one here. The Sea Hag for 4 and a blue is a 3/5 hag. When the Sea Hag enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -4/-0 until end of turn. So that's cool. But then the adventure is Aquatic Ingress. Ingress for 2 and a blue. That's an instant. And up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. So that's nice and simple. Either you get a 3/5 and your opponent's stuff gets small, or 2 of your things get bigger and unblockable. Nice.
Yeah, and you can get the 3/5 later.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Because where do they go?
After you play the adventure, it goes to exile, and then you can cast the creature from there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, hey, Brian, you want to read or Mike? It seems like more of a Mike card. But either way, somebody want to read the monster manual?
Sure. The monster manual is a rare artifact. So this is the first non-creature adventure card.
Ah.
It's a rare artifact that costs 3 and a green. And the ability is pay 1 and a green and tap. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield.
Wow, it's an Elvish Piper.
Yeah, little Elvish Piper and whatever amulet. I can't remember the name of that amulet. Lodestone amulet? That's not right. Anyway.
Yeah, I can't either.
But then the adventure is Zoological Study. It's a sorcery for 2 and a green. Mill 5 cards, then return a creature card milled this way to your hand.
That's why it seems like a Mike card.
To do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Quicksilver Amulet. Thank you, chat.
There you go.
The flavor text. The detail really makes the monsters jump off the page.
Wow.
Hey!
I like it.
Oh, the art. So it shows the open book, and on the left side of the page is a picture of what is clearly a beholder, and on the right side of the page, oh, that's great. Hey, Dirk.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Tarask.
Yeah, and I went and looked it up and was like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Tarask
eat cities, or there's only ever one, kind of, sort of, but yeah, it's one of the most famous monsters, and has a little bit of perhaps additional meaning to the people that play with me now. So hey, look at that. But yeah, card's neat. Everybody loves that effect of just like, oh, throw down a creature. How much does it cost? It doesn't matter. It costs 2 now. Progenitus is a lot easier to cast this way. And that is interesting that the Monster Manual is the first non-creature permanent with adventure.
Because it is an adventure.
It's funny. They even made a little placeholder card where you can, like, the adventure zone or whatever, where you can set your creatures after you've played the adventure side, and I think it says on an adventure, and the flavor was always like that creature has gone on an adventure, and then you play it later, it's to your field. So is the Monster Manual going on an adventure, or is it just like stuck in the mail like FedEx?
It's in the book bag. It's in Volo's bag. It's the thing you keep writing all the stuff, the creature types on.
Get it? I like that, Dirk.
So there we go. That's the new mechanics.
Okay.
Which, I guess there's really the initiative, and actually all of this is sort of kind of old mechanics.
Yeah, I mean,
2 of them just have a different coat of paint.
Yeah. So adventures are not new. Myriad is not new. The Gate is not new. The Undercity is a new dungeon.
What the hell was that?
It was a dragon.
It kind of sounded like... Did you guys happen to hear thunder?
I didn't.
No.
I guess none of you were terribly close to me.
Yeah. I had to water the garden because they keep calling for rain, and there's been no rain. So
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just heard something like that came through the headset, and I couldn't tell what it was. And when Dirk said this is a dragon, it kind of sounded like a dragon, honestly.
Um, but like the initiative is kind of new, but it's really not because it's just a reskinned monarch.
Yeah, it's
And
Monarch and Venture smashed together.
yeah. So of everything, probably backgrounds is the most new thing, but
But even it's
it's
just partner.
it's a combination of partner and the class cards from the last D&D set, except that those aren't even legendary. So yeah, it's basically just partner. So
It's all very
it's
strange.
it's more like twists on stuff we've seen.
I do like
I,
the flavor of backgrounds though, being that
Yeah.
like the whole thing about a role playing game is you're this character and you've got this in your past. And so
yeah,
it allows you to turn your commander deck into that.
yeah.
Like, oh yes, I'm an
In
itinerant scholar uh of noble heritage.
right.
So that is
In
flavorfully that is really cool.
that is pretty good. And I like that at least these two they're cheap. So I like the fact that you're probably going to play them first. That just kind of makes sense from a very grokkable sort of thing. Um, Plus, like the white one gives you want to play the white one first because it gives your commander an ability as they enter, right? So yeah. In the player's handbook, there's either 9 or 11 backgrounds that they, suggest for your characters, and you can either just pick one at random or, and when you do that, it gives them additional skills and stuff. It's not meant to replace you sitting down with the DM and being like, all right, this is what my guy's been through, but it's more of like a quick and dirty, hey, they were
Here's some
a,
potential backgrounds.
right. A lot of people seem to like urchin because urchins get like quick travel through cities just because they grew up on the streets. They were a
All right,
gentleman.
let's get to the
So
cards.
get to the cards.
How do we want to do this?
Before we do anything,
Before we do anything.
this one's specifically for Brian.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Go to green.
Go to green.
You
going to
look
green.
upon the Tarask at the very bottom of green.
Wasn't the
There's
Tarask?
the monster manual, and then down and right is you look upon the Tarask.
You look upon the, which by the way, to the Tarask was actually in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms as well. Kind of forgot they printed that card, but you look upon the Tarask. Okay, I have not read this card. I have not read any of these cards. So you look upon the Tarask for 4 and a green. It's an uncommon instant. Choose one. Okay, so like Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, we've got the like named bullet points. So choose one. Either run and hide, prevent all combat damage to be dealt to you and creatures you control this turn. It's kind of very expensive fog, but hey, it also protects your creatures, but it doesn't prevent the damage your creatures would do. That's cool.
Yeah, it's one side.
Or you either run and hide or you gather your courage. Target creature gets +5/+5 and gains indestructible until end of turn. All creatures your opponents control able to block that creature this turn do so. It's a lure.
That's the best lure I've ever seen.
It's a +5/+5 indestructible lure. Wow.
Dude, that used to take like 4 cards to do
that. Yeah. I mean, I think like the standard lure creature was like a 1/1 for 4 mana. Now this was also when they were kind of dumb, but still. Yeah, I kind of like this. Now in D&D, you're probably going to run and hide from a Tarask a lot of times, but here I can see myself casting Gather Your Courage a lot. And then the run and hide is basically like, oh crap, I'm about to lose. Maybe I can't. But I feel like Gather Your Courage is the like, and I win the game sort of card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because
But
if one
yes,
thing's
this,
getting lured, everything else is getting through.
But a Tarask wrecking a city or village.
Like you
That
do.
seems That seems familiar for some reason. I don't know why that would be familiar.
Let's
Mike.
see here.
That's why I was like, Brian, you need to read this card.
Yep.
There aren't
Make
any
it so.
gates in the card image gallery yet, other than Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I didn't see any either.
No,
Uh,
not yet.
Chat thinks they said there are 9 gates because there are 9 gates between the districts of the city. But it's possible chat's making that up. You know how it is. Not like intentionally, but... Yeah. Alright, all of these artifacts are reprints, it looks like.
Not the Dungeoneers pack.
Wait, why are the...
Or the Noble's Purse or the Nautiloid ship.
Oh, these aren't put together like the other sets where the new card, like the other commander things where the new cards are at the top, because it's not a commander thing.
Yeah.
It's a set.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a whore. All right.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, Mike, what's the Dungeoneers pack do?
Yeah, what the hell does the Dungeoneers pack do?
It's pretty neat. It's an uncommon artifact. It costs 3 and enters the battlefield tapped. You can pay 2 and tap and sacrifice it. You take the initiative, gain 3 life, draw a card, and create a treasure token. Activate only as a sorcery.
Oh my god, it's like you hit everybody with your angel. Because if you hit someone else that has the initiative with the angel, it's possible to get all of this.
but this is like the guaranteed. Like,
yeah.
This is a pretty sick little expending for an uncommon. This feels pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean,
entering the battlefield tapped is really important to balance this.
Yeah, it does take 3 mana to cast, a turn, and 2 mana to use, so maybe not that good.
It still feels worth it.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
if you draw this and you're about...
In terms of limited, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's drafting the set.
Is the Noble's Purse a reprint?
I don't think so. It doesn't seem familiar.
Okay.
No.
I guess I could check Gather.
So Noble's Purse, for 2 mana, is another uncommon artifact. It enters the battlefield tapped with 3 coin counters on it. And you tap and remove a coin counter to make a treasure. Nice and simple, but pretty sweet. Yeah. And then the Nautiloid... What the hell is a Nautiloid ship? And why does it look like it's in space? It's a giant space squid.
Is this like a Starjammer sort of thing?
I have no idea what this is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. You mean Spelljammer?
Yeah, Spelljammer.
Or did you mean Starjammer?
Isn't there like D&D in space?
Yeah, it's called
I'm
Spelljammer.
not...
Yeah, Spelljammer.
Okay.
Yeah, Starjammer is like a Marvel Comics thing, but I don't know if you're making a space joke there too.
I don't know enough about either to have made that joke. Let's say yes.
It's where
If it was
Cyclops'
funny-
dad is.
Oh yeah, I remember that from the X-Men Phoenix saga on the cartoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so this looks like a crustacean, but it's a vehicle. So the Nautiloid ship for 4 mana is an artifact. It's a vehicle. Is that mythic? I think that's mythic. It's a 5. When it's a ship, like when it's crewed, it's a 5/5 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard, just straight up. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may put a creature card exiled with Nautiloid ship into the battlefield under your control. Wow. And it's got crew of 3. That's not too bad at all. Beware the space crustacean thing.
Clearly. Is this a thing from Baldur's Gate? I can't see this. Granted, I only played Baldur's Gate 1 and not very far into it, but I can't see this in that world. Clearly, I'm
It
missing
might just
something.
be taking the opportunity to just get some more other D&D stuff in here.
Yeah. Spelljammer, Starjammer, whichever. Yeah.
Pants Jammer. So, the faceless one is the other is the thing that I think you were talking about, Brian. For 5 mana, it's common. It's number 1 in the set because it's colorless. It's called Faceless One, and it's a 3/3 legendary enchantment creature background. And it says, if Faceless One is your commander, choose a color before the game begins. Faceless One is the chosen color, and choose a background. So if you somehow didn't manage to draft a usable commander, you can just make one.
Right.
Yeah, or if you did get a commander that can choose a background, but you didn't get any good backgrounds, then the Faceless One can be the background.
Exactly that, yes.
I'm wondering about whether you can, chain them by choosing them as backgrounds for each other. I'd be interested to learn the answer to that question.
I mean, I would assume so, but I don't know. I mean, why would you do that? I guess just to have the two colors.
So you can have, I'm wondering, if you can chain them even further than that. Could you set up 4 Faceless Ones and build a 4-color deck?
Well, no, because you can't. What?
You're probably right.
I don't even understand the mechanics of what you just asked. Because you can
start
only
with
have
Faceless.
one of each. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Like one creature and one background.
Yeah, I haven't read that paragraph in a while, and I've closed the tab, so I'm gonna try. That sounds reasonable. So.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I don't think you could make a 4-color deck with 4 Faceless Ones.
Yeah, that would be weird.
So, okay, now what? Oh, wait a minute. I want to read Minsk and Boo. Because
Didn't we
it's
already have a
Minsk
Minsk
and
and
Boo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's a
more different
planeswalker.
Minsk and Boo.
I did not notice that. So, Minsk and Boo, Timeless Heroes. For 2, a red and a green, is a legendary planeswalker, Minsk. Starts with 3 loyalty, and it has a static ability. Oh, also, they can be your commander, because, of course they can. And it has a static ability. Minsk and Boo, Timeless Heroes, enters the battlefield when Minsk and Boo, Timeless Heroes enters the battlefield, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may create Boo, a legendary 1/1 red hamster creature token with trample and haste. Wait, so you can have multiple Boos?
Well, they're legendary.
Oh, they're legendary. Okay.
No, it's just if it goes away,
it comes back.
Yeah. You've always got a Boo.
It's true, because he's a miniature giant space hamster. So, +1. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature with trample or haste. Man, if only you were guaranteed to always have a creature with either trample or haste.
Well, have I got a deal for you?
Go for the eyes, Boo! And then -2. Sacrifice a creature. When you do, Minsk and Boo, Timeless Heroes, deals X damage to any target where X is that creature's power. If the sacrificed creature was a hamster, draw X cards. Oh my god! It's literally go for the eyes, Boo! Minsk winds up and throws Boo at your face. That is the most beautiful bit of flavor I've ever seen on a planeswalker, I think. And then next turn, he'll come back because you can't kill Boo. He's a miniature giant space hamster.
Well, there's the discussion about planeswalkers that they do great for, synergizing their deck, and sometimes they can defend themselves. This one is very much, no, this card literally can just sit and just roll by itself, and you can have your deck that does all this stuff. This commander just sort of sits off to the side and says, I got this, guys. You play over there, I'll be over here throwing stuff.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
And Tasha, the Witch Queen, is the other planeswalker.
Oh, there's another. I missed her too. Damn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's at the bottom of the
Okay, what's she
multicolored.
do? Other
For
than
3
be fine.
Do what?
Other than be fine.
Yeah. She was raised by Baba Yaga.
Oh, that explains a lot.
That's terrifying.
So for 3 blue-black, she's a legendary planeswalker. Tasha, mythic. Loyalty is 4. She can be your commander. Static ability is whenever you cast a spell you don't own, create a 3/3 black demon creature token.
Scared fate.
What? No. Wait, does that work?
Yeah, it works.
What did Brian say?
He said shared fate.
Oh.
Oh, Lord. All right, keep going, Dirk.
So, for her +1 ability, draw a card. For each opponent, exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from that player's graveyard and put a page counter on it. So you draw a card, and then exile up to 1 instant from their graveyard. Okay. So anytime you draw, is it just when you do that, you draw a card and you...
Yeah, just part of this ability, yeah.
Yeah, so +1, you draw a card, and then you take 1 card, 1 instant or sorcery from everyone else's graveyard.
And you put a page counter on
the card you pulled out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or the cards you pulled out from graveyards, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Tasha
not
has
the card you drew.
Yeah, so Tasha has a little spell book off to the side now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spellbook of your stolen spells.
Uh-huh. All right, and then her next ability is -3. You may cast a spell from among cards in exile with page counters on them without paying its mana cost.
Yeah, see, that's kind of nasty.
Wow,
Yeah.
without paying its mana cost, I wouldn't have expected that.
Yep. It is
Well, you
a
are
little...
-3, so...
Yeah, it is a little slow because you got to activate the first ability, and then she has to make it around to your next ability next turn with at least 3 counters on it. When I guarantee you, people are going to be like,
no,
hit her. Yeah. And then to even do it again, you're going to have to then +1 her several times. So, is this good? Yeah, but it's not an automatic like
it says
rapid
+1
fire
draw
sort
card.
of thing.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
But
can't
then
do
you also-
anything like super nuts with it, even until the next turn.
Right. Although that second ability basically also says, and you get a demon. So
Yeah, and you get a demon.
Although, if you did have a Tasha and you used her +1 at least once, when you play another Tasha, all it says is in exile with page counters on them. So another Tasha could totally use those cards.
It doesn't have the language of exiled by this card or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's by design, kind of like how Maricil the Pretender works, so that when you replay it, you still have access to other stuff.
And she can be your commander.
Yep.
So you can just keep... Oh, she died? All darn. Back to the command zone with you.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yep. She's got a cauldron with everything in it.
All right, so the other
Planeswalker. There is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is freaking Elminster, which when I was scrolling and I saw that, I had to stop and be like, I'm sorry, what? Because Elminster is one of those...
Yeah, it's a deep cut. Well, not a deep cut, but just some from way back.
Yeah, like, it's very old, but Elminster's also just, like, power? Like, Elminster's like Gandalf if Gandalf was less interested in being subtle.
That's an image.
Right? So, Brian, you don't know who Elminster is, I'm guessing?
I don't.
Cool. Why don't you read Elminster?
Okay. So Elminster costs 3, a white and a blue, and comes with 5 loyalty. He's a mythic, legendary Elminster planeswalker. He can be your commander. He has the static ability. Whenever you scry, The next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X generic mana less to cast, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. Huh. So, like, if you scry 2, then your next spell, your next instant or sorcery costs 2 less.
Yeah.
Mike,
Uh-huh.
if I scry 2, and
Yes.
then I activate an ability, not a sorcery or instant, that allows me to scry 1. Does that scry 1 override the 2, or do I combine them for 3?
They're additive.
They're additive. Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah. Since
It says whenever you scry.
yeah, and it says the next instant or sorcery. So yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure
Yeah,
that's
and,
right.
and
Okay.
cost reduce all cost reducing effects are additive.
All right. Great. +2, draw a card, then scry 2. So if you like +1 to draw a card, +2 on a starting 5 loyalty, whoo, and then and scry 2, helps set up that ability. Plus, draw a card, then scry 2 is just great by itself. And then -3, exile the top card of your library, create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens with flying equal to that card's mana value. That's weird. I mean, that sounds great. That's, I mean, I can see myself using that second ability, but you're going to give me the option to get a free card every time with a Scry 2 attached that might also make my sorceries and instants cheaper? Yes, please? I mean, he feels really straightforward. Of course, let your imagination run wild with, cheaper sorceries and instants. Mike, what if it costs 2 less?
Yeah.
Yeah. But but
Even the humble serum visions turns into a ritual.
Yeah.
jeez. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. I don't know the lore for that guy, but yeah, I get the lack of subtlety. There are some gods in gold, and I don't mean like, oh wow, this card is really good. I mean like there's literal god creatures in gold. And at least one of which I'm like, hey, I know that one from lore, and one of which I'm like, I have no idea who that is. But for example, in Jund colors, because what did we learn last time? Just play Jund, right? Different set, rule still applies.
Right.
Yep.
Bale, I believe that's how. I think that the two ways make a hard A. Bale, Lord of Murder, is a god in D&D lore, and is I think taken from real life influence, or real life mythology, whatever you want to say. But this is a 4/4 legendary creature god for 2 and a black, red, green. Now, gods are interesting in that we've seen them portrayed a number of different ways from Theros and other sets and other settings, and it's always interesting to see how do they how do they really convey divinity. Like the ones from original Theros were indestructible, but they weren't always creatures, right? You had to have devotion to make them creatures.
Hmm.
And the gods from Amonkhet were not always indestructible, or couldn't always attack and block, I think. So,
Yeah. And then Nicol Bolas's god minions were really difficult to kill.
yes, that's right. So, here, um, the first ability with Bale is as long as your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, Bale, God of Murder, has indestructible. So if you're at a healthy life total, he's basically just another creature. If you're at half life or less, he's also indestructible. Whenever another non token creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and goad it. goad means.
I was just say, someone
It
remind me
has-
what goad is again.
It
that-
it has to attack on its controller's next. It has to attack something. Wave hands around. I can't remember the exact wording of the time frame. It has to attack, and it can't attack you.
Ah, okay.
Right. Next turn, it's got to attack, and it can't attack the person that goaded it.
Mhm.
So you're like, hey, get stronger, and go murder somebody else because Lord of Murder. So
Maybe that's why I have such a hard time remembering what that means, because you think if you goad someone, they would attack you.
you
Mhm.
think, right?
Or maybe goad means like goading. Oh no, you're goading someone into attacking someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
goad is
Yeah.
not like provoke. Like, hey, stop trying to hit me and hit me. It's, hey man, I think he's sleeping with your friend or with your mama or whatever. And then he's like, what? And then he goes and kicks that guy's ass.
No, that's my best mom friend.
Yeah, that's my best mom friend. How dare you sleep with my mom friend? And according to the Forgotten Realms wiki, it's either Baal, or Bahal. But then that's the Forgotten Realms wiki, and freaking anyone can edit that. Wasn't this the bad guy in the first Baldur's Gate? Like the main villain, like the final boss? I think that's
You were
right.
The only person that played, so.
And I definitely
But
didn't get that far.
But
not
He's
easy.
one of the lords of the underworld.
But in setting up my own campaign, I was looking at the various divinities that were, provided for a lot of the Forgotten Realms, and he's definitely up there. And if you worship him, it's usually not legal, but he's the patron god of like assassins, because killer's gonna kill. And then I see there's somebody a little further down, Merkel, M-Y, but I'm not familiar with this god. So,
Oh, he's cute.
okay, what's he do?
Miracle, let's say?
Mhm.
I believe in miracle. No? Okay. Miracle,
with you.
Lord of Bones. Merkel? Okay. For 4, a white, a black, and a green, is a legendary creature god who is rare. What was Ball? Ball was also rare. Okay. Is a 7/5. And as long as your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, then Miracle is indestructible. Sorry, has indestructible. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, oh god. If you do,
Oh,
create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's an enchantment, and it loses all the other card types. So you make... Oh wait, so it's...
Make a little ghost of your creature.
Mike, if a creature is no longer a creature, can it attack?
No, because it doesn't have power and toughness.
Yeah, so it's not a creature anymore.
Non-creature
so
permanents can't have power and toughness. Like, that's how vehicles work. That's part of how vehicles work. When they're not creatures, they don't have power and toughness.
Yeah,
It's kind of like how the Theros gods work. When they're not creatures, they don't have power and toughness.
yeah.
So basically,
So you're getting static abilities or activated abilities, but not the body.
Mm-hmm.
right, unless your vehicle was a creature when it died, because it still keeps all its other abilities, right?
Yes,
So does it still have crew?
it does.
Okay.
I think Brian might have just broken something.
Yeah, but if it dies again, it's a token. So
Greasefang
Yeah.
can be in your Merkle deck, so you got that going for you.
But so like everybody loves Wormcoil engine, right? And here, if it dies, it'll still spawn its 2 tokens, and then it will come back. However, when it comes back, it won't be a creature. So for its abilities to matter anymore, you have to then sack it again.
Yeah, but hey, that's a good way
Yeah,
to set up.
I mean, there's a lot of creatures that have just very good static abilities, or even triggered abilities, or activated abilities, as long as it's not. I mean, they'll still have their ability. So it's something like pay X and tap. You can still do that, right?
Yeah.
So if you just have those creatures for the abilities, if anything, sometimes because they're not creatures, wrath effects won't touch them.
Hmm.
This is kind of sick.
Yeah, that's a really neat card.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to.
I mean, I'm sure there's tons of examples in the game where, not being a creature kind of makes it better because then it's not as vulnerable to people hating
Yep.
on it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look this guy up in
like Elvish Piper.
in the.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to look this guy up a little bit because I'm not familiar with this guy at all. But cool.
Ooh, there's one creature that I actually know from the game, and that's Heya, it's me, Imoen, in blue. But because she's blue, I kind of hate her, but that's okay. So Imoen is a mystic trickster, which, let's see, she's a legendary human rogue wizard, and she's uncommon. But Imoen was she a thief at the beginning of the game, I think? Or she's a rogue of some sort, either way, so that's cool. For 2 and a blue, she's a 2/3 with Ward 2. And at the beginning of your end step, if you have the initiative, draw a card. Draw another card if you've completed a dungeon. So wait a minute. That's still only if you have the initiative, right?
Right.
Okay. Because it's a new sentence, so I just had to double check. And she has to choose a background. Her background is that annoying young girl who followed you around at Candlekeep.
Or she doesn't want to be a dungeon delver.
Okay.
Go one up to the left.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a background. I was like, what in the blue hell are you talking about? Oh, hey, look, our first nice, boring background. I say boring, but I mean uncommon. For 1 and a blue, commander creatures you own have... Oh. That's actually really cool. Commander creatures you own have room abilities of dungeons you own trigger an additional time.
That can get pretty cool really fast.
Yeah, it can.
The flavor text is using second person pronouns. You're driven, not yeah.
Because it's the dungeon master, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, that was it.
Oh, you were starting to read it, so.
Oh,
you're driven not by lust for gold or baubles, but by the thrill of danger and the excitement of the unknown. Yeah, that sounds like me. Pretty sure that's my background. Yeah. Okay, now what? What y'all want to read? All right.
I'm just kind of scrolling
Yeah,
through.
I'm just looking around.
Hey, here's a background in black. It's criminal past.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So for 2 and a black, legendary enchantment background, uncommon, commander creatures you own have menace, and this creature gets +X+0, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Oh, he's got skeletons in his closet, and they only just make him more powerful.
Makes him want to add to the pile.
Yeah, really scary. Yeah.
Well,
that sounds about right.
Once you have your first body, you know.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that's my background.
You never cared much for laws or authority, especially when they get in your way. Jeez.
All right, that actually does sound like me. Like, that's not even a joke. The authority part, not the laws part.
Look at the art for the card 2 past this one, called Elder Brain.
How about I don't ever look at that card art, actually?
I don't even know what this does. I'm just...
I'm gonna look over there so I don't have to look at this card art.
Why is it covered in spiders? See, I
What?
can say that because Chewie's not.
I looked at it long enough to know there were no spiders and yet it was still awful. Yeah, won't one of y'all read that so I can scroll away from it?
All right. 5 black. It's a rare 6/6 horror.
Yeah, it
and
is.
it has menace. Whenever Elder Brain attacks a player, so you don't even have to hit them. Whenever Elder Brain attacks a player, exile all cards from that player's hand, then they draw that many cards. You may play lands and cast spells from among the exiled cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it.
Yep, seems about right. The Elder Brain is what controls the Mind Flayer colonies.
Okay.
That's a neat. Huh.
Think of did you ever see Starship Troopers?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I followed the flavor of it. I was actually thinking of what the card does.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really
It
Drop
eats
your hand.
mind.
Thank you for the cards.
Yeah.
Here's some damage.
Yeah, it just takes what you've got. You replace it, so you don't, you don't even know you've lost anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then you can, you can just use it. Wow, that's evil.
They reprinted Fireball with language that makes sense. There's no why. This is the most concise Fireball ever.
Isn't this the original wording for Fireball?
Basically. I don't know if... Was Fireball ever actually printed with Y on it?
It was.
I feel like I should know this.
I feel like it was, but I don't know if that's...
I'll go together. I'll go together.
Yeah, you do go together.
For some reason, it was... Several times it was printed, the costs one more part was down at the bottom of the text box instead of up at the top. Yeah, that's something you kind of need to know when you're playing the card.
Oh, hey, look, lightning bolt.
Oh, lightning bolt.
Seeing a Y on it. I'm looking at the past printings of it. I could have sworn it did, but maybe I'm thinking of the uncard.
No, I know it.
Oh, no. There, Fireball, and it's got a mace. Is that
Beatdown?
That's the beatdown box set.
Beatdown.
Yeah.
Fireball deals X damage divided evenly, rounded down among Y +1 target creatures and/or players, and at the top it's X followed by Y for the generic mana costs and a red. Okay, found it.
Yeah, there was a limited period. I knew there was a limited period of time where that was its Oracle text, but I couldn't remember whether it was actually ever printed that way. Okay, so it's only in the beatdown box set. That's delightfully silly.
I'm checking the rest. I'm not seeing any. Oh, these are all commander sets. Yeah, it looks like that was the only printing, physical printing. At least the only physical printing that shows up in Gatherer. There are a few things that show up elsewhere, but...
That's interesting. In 5th edition, the part that tells you that it costs one more for each extra target moved to the front of the text. But then everything else, it moved to the end again. Until this new printing.
What? Oh! You're right. M10, M11, M12, yeah, it's all at the bottom. Damn, that's eerie. Cool. Today we learned.
There you go.
By the way, if you don't know what Fireball does, it's X and a red to a single target, but you can spend one more to have the X divide evenly among all the targets. So if you put 4 in a red, you deal 4 damage to something. If you do 4 + 1 in a red, then you deal 2 damage to 2 things. And it just gets exponentially worse.
Yeah.
So hey, there's a wand of Jesus, wand of wonder. There we go. Wound of wander.
Do you wonder?
A wah demonetized.
Yep.
So wand of wonder for 3 in a red is a rare artifact. It says pay 4 and tap, roll a d20. You know, because D&D. Each
Yep.
opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card. What? Then shuffles the rest into their library. You may cast up to X instant and or sorcery spells from among cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. Oh, okay. And then for 1 through 9, that's why you roll the d20. For 1 through 9, X is 1. For 10 through 19, X is 2. And a 20 means you can play 3 of those cards.
I mean, the question with a lot of the roll a d20 cards for me is usually like, is this worth playing even if I get a low roll? And would I play this and then probably not in the same turn, but some other turn, pay for, tap, and get a free instant or sorcery? I mean, this almost can't blank because they exile cards until they exile an instant or sorcery card. It's not like, oh, you mill 3 or whatever, and oh, look, there's nothing to cast. So would I pay 4 and tap this to get just 1 free instant or sorcery? Probably. You know how much I love random stuff. Nothing about this says activate at sorcery speed, so yeah. And then 10 to 19 or 20 is just gravy. I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I mean, you can blank if their instant or sorcery is one that you don't want or can't use, but...
Yeah, I said almost can't blank.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's about it.
If it's
You're
something.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait. Chat. Al said there's an elephant angel. I'm sorry,
Elephant
what?
angel? That must be in white, right?
I mean, let's hope so. Oh, yep. Lulu Loyal Hollyphant.
Wow.
Hollyphant. Hey, Dirk, you haven't read a card in a while. What the hell does Lulu Loyal Hollyphant do?
Well, it's a 3 white. So it's a 3 in white. It's a 3/2 legendary creature, Elephant Angel. That's uncommon with a fly-in.
Huh.
And it's a choose a background. So we'll find out what background this creature has at some point. You get to choose. At the beginning of your instep, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control, then untap them.
That is the second white card I've seen with untap your stuff, with all your stuff, with, you know, criteria.
Yeah. And see, this may or may not work well. I'd have to think about this combination. But just looking at Lulu and that art, I just want to give her a criminal past because that's just, you know, she's on the run. All those people she hurt back in Waterdeep. Look at her eyes. Her past haunts her every day. Who am I kidding? She clearly has seen Dumbo one too many times, and she's just like, yeah.
So
actually, that's a really good combination. If you want stuff to,
is it?
Yeah, it has flying. It'll get menace. You want stuff to die, so it'll get more and more power.
That's true. I didn't even think about it. I was just doing it for the lulls.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I thought you were okay. I thought you were doing it for the lulls and because it's good, but yeah.
I was just my first thing is just like, hey, how funny would it be to give this cute thing a criminal background?
Or you could pair her with Cultist of the Absolute. Because you have to sacrifice the creature.
Stuff. Yeah.
Which makes her stronger again. Dude, Criminal Past is gross. I just realized that because it's for commander creatures, like, commander damage is a thing,
It is.
but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
luckily menace isn't like super hard to punch to deal with, but still,
Yeah. But a flying creature with menace starts to get much harder.
yeah. Hmm. There's a common creature here that says draw 2 cards for 8 mana.
Yeah, they brought there's some invokers.
Oh god, it is an invoker.
Mm-hmm. There's another one in
Oh.
green. I can't remember whether they've shown other ones yet.
Holy crap. So Tymora's Invoker for 1 and a blue is a 1/3 orc rogue that says sleight of hand, which that's the fancy little flavorful ability thing that they did in the Adventures in Forgotten Realms. Pay 8, draw 2 cards. The Invokers, if you don't remember, and why would you, were cards from was it Scourge?
Scourge.
Yeah.
They
That
came back in
were-
something else. Let me check.
I think they came back at some point, yeah. But they were
And
small
Rise of the
creatures.
Eldrazi. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. They were small creatures that, were essentially draft chaff, filler cards. But they had an ability that was really expensive and did something gross. Like the Flame Wave Invoker was like, was it 7 in a red to do something stupid?
Yeah, 5 damage. Right now, it says 5 damage to target player or planeswalker.
Yeah. Was it 7 in a red too?
Yeah, 7 in a red. Yeah,
Damn,
the
I'm
ability
good.
costs 8. I mean, the abilities are overpriced for what they do, but they have an enormous impact on the board for a limited game.
Yeah. So, and you said there's one in green too?
Yes.
Oh, no, never mind. Sylvanas is Invoker. A 3/2 for 2 in the green. That's a Dragon Druid. That's cool. And his ability is Conjure Elemental. So for pay 8, untap target land you control. It becomes an 8/8 Elemental with Trample and Haste until end of turn. Yeah. That's, yeah. Oh my god,
That's
look
cool.
at this refined bear. Did you see the refined bear?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What does the refined bear do, somebody?
So Wilson, Refined Grizzly. For 1 and a green, it's a 2/2, uncommon, bear warrior that's legendary. This spell can't be countered. And he has Vigilance, Reach, and Trample, and Ward 2. And you get to choose a background for him.
He's obviously a bear of noble heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously.
Well, as refined as he is, unfortunately, I am going to need to head out here soon.
All right. Hey, Dirk, before you leave, you got to read one more.
Okay.
From Wilson, go up and to the left.
The Master Chef.
Because Dirk plays Halo. Get it?
That's right.
Oh,
2 and a green. For 2 and a green, it's a common background enchantment. Commander creatures you own have this creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them.
Makes sense. And the flavor text?
You never thought rations was an appropriate term for the feast that you prepare for your parties. For your party.
look at the background cards. I don't think you see anybody's face.
I just noticed that now.
Yeah, I noticed it on what was it called? Criminal Past, but it didn't occur to me that was a thing until I saw this one.
Yeah.
Because this one
like,
is the
"That's weird."
first one where it's like obvious that they're not showing the face.
Yeah, and then I looked at there's raised by giants in this line. I'm like, he's facing away, and I'm like, has it been all of them? Because I guess you're supposed it's insert yourself. It's like the silent protagonist,
Yeah,
right?
could be
So
anybody. Mhm.
yeah, raised by giant. Dirk's got to go, but you'll appreciate this. Raised by giants for 5 and a green, legendary background. It's rare. Commander creatures you own have base power and toughness 10/10. And are giants in addition to their other types. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, because your parents taught you that strength can be nurtured and honed, no matter one's size. Aw.
Do you even lift, bro?
Yeah.
Because
Well, we've been going long enough anyway. You want to stop there?
Sure.
probably.
Oh, there's a red Invoker.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, Ball's Invoker for 2 and a red. It's a 4/2 common dragon shaman.
Yeah.
And it has a Scorching Ray for 8 mana. Ball's Invoker deals 4 damage to each opponent.
That's way better for commander.
Mm-hmm.
Brat, brat.
Okay.
Okay. Well then,
mean,
we will stop there
yeah.
and come back probably next week.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other stuff here to definitely talk about. So yeah,
And there's even more that's been revealed today. So
nice.
So, how about some final thought? By the way, no one in the chat seems to have noticed it, but the background for the stream is Candlekeep from the first Baldur's Gate game. It took me several minutes to find this exact picture and make it the background, and I'm very proud of it. So, yeah. So, okay, final thoughts. Dirk, go.
All right, final thought. I was looking through the news and I saw something sad.
Imagine
That is
that.
Vangelis, the composer of Chariots of Fire, passed away today.
Oh, really?
That is sad.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. And he did he helped out with the soundtrack to, or he made the soundtrack for Blade Runner. So he was into the electronic stuff, which is really cool. But yeah, he unfortunately passed away today, so very sad.
That is sad. Oh, hey, Mike just resubbed for 26 months. Said F in the chat for Vangelis. Wow. Wow, Mike.
And with that, I unfortunately have got to head off.
Oh, I see. Dirk's just going to bum us out and then dip. Uh-huh.
That's right.
Be sad. See you later.
Later, guys.
Night, Dirk.
Bye.
All right, what else y'all got?
I mean, on that note, like, everything's horrible. No, I mean, my work has been crazy lately. It's just been absolutely insane. But, coming up on hopefully some calmer times. Hopefully, just need to get through the next couple weeks. So,
So is that because of the the backlog from COVID?
part of that, yes, because we're still dealing with some of that, and part of that is just straight up just some crazy cases, to be honest. A little bit of both.
Fair enough.
A lot of the COVID stuff has kind of worked its way through, but certainly not all of it. So.
Okay, I'm just wondering how much of that, because I know that everything got paused for like a very long time.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, we weren't holding almost any court except for some emergency courts for months. And even though we've been going, we have a backlog of, among other cases, murder cases and high felony cases that were set for trial and haven't been heard yet. So only in the last couple months have we really had some success in starting to break that up. But still got a lot to go, and especially if you're maybe like facing something serious but not that serious, you've definitely been put on the back burner. So trying to get through it. But I can only speak for myself personally. It just feels like lately it's just been like, holy cow, lots of cases, lots of stuff going on. So I'll be able to come up for air. I'm not trying to be like poor me, but I'm just like, whew, trying to get through this and trying to, do a decent job while I'm at it and do a good job for my clients. So, whew,
Good job.
but we're getting there.
All right.
That's what I got. Mike?
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys.
The,
One of the activities that I did while I was out on the cruise was that I decided to participate in a little trivia contest, and, and I ended up winning the trivia
Oh, good for you.
contest.
What kind of trivia? Like just general trivia or like.
No, it was really cool. It was a music trivia contest
of
where,
course it was.
yeah, where one of the house musicians on the boat would play would play a riff from a rock song. They were mostly from the 60s and 70s. There were a couple of ones from the 80s thrown in there, and you had to come up with what the song was from hearing the riff. And yeah, I got 17 out of 20, and that was the most of all the people in the room who were playing.
Nice.
So what you win? More booze?
No, I got a little plastic trophy with that looks like the ship we were on.
So also more booze.
Oh, there's a white invoker.
Lord have mercy.
Bane's invoker costs 1 and a white. It's a 2/2 human cleric. And the wind walk says pay 8 up to 2 target creatures, each get +2/+2 and gain flying until end of turn.
So were there any colors that we didn't see one, or was that all of them now?
Black doesn't have one right now.
Okay. Are you sure about that?
I am sure about that. Black
Okay.
has noticeably. It feels like black has fewer cards revealed versus the other colors right now. Maybe not. That's
Maybe
not.
not.
It's an incorrect feeling. Oh well.
All right. Well, as for me, I've just been feeling vaguely overwhelmed lately because I have too many irons in the fire. Like I have things in the the real world that I really need to freaking get done, and I have all kinds of ideas and plans for the content that I really need to get done or want to get done, and yeah, I've been making a concerted effort this week to get a bunch of odds and ends posted because I'm super far behind on those, as everyone knows. But recently, over the last few days, I got a couple new $10 patrons, and I went, oh, crap, odds and ends. This is going to be the first month in a very long time where, at least hopefully this will be, where my Patreon number goes up instead of down.
Oh wow.
Yeah, ever since COVID hit, dude, every month almost is just nope, nope, nope. And most of the reasons say my financial situation changed, and I'm like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really argue with that.
Yeah, because by all means, if you need to save money, then for God's sake, drop my Patreon. That's like the least important thing. Or, if you don't like that I'm progressive and think that, everyone should have equal treatment under the law and in society, in which case, piss off. Yeah, I said it. And quite a few people have left because of that, too. And you know what? Good riddance to them. I didn't want their stupid money.
Good.
But, yeah. But I have so many things, like, running around in my head or sitting on my hard drive or whatever that I need to do or work on or get figured out, and I don't have time. And yeah, I'm beginning to think that putting Rogue Legacy on YouTube was a mistake. Like, I think I've done 4 streams of it now, and I'm still working on turning the first stream into videos. But since hard drive space isn't the issue that it once was, that's less of a hassle. Like, by far. Like, before I was running out of space on multiple hard drives. Now I have multiple hard drives that are basically empty, so, and they're massive. So that's cool. I can stash stuff there for ever. I also recently had my solid state drive die with no warning.
Oh no.
And then it wouldn't come out of the damn case. I ended up having to literally just like muscle it out of the case. And when it came out, I looked at it and I saw nothing on it that would have made it not come out of the case. Like, it's smooth. There's no anything that would have hung inside the case or anything. And there's no indication that something was from the case was hung on it. There's no deformations or markings or anything. I'm like, what? But it seriously took me a very long time to get the stupid solid state drive out. I have no idea what was on it. It was clearly nothing mission critical, so I'm not super worried about it. It just worries me that it died with no warning. It died because we had a tornado warning. And so I shut down my computer and unplugged the power strip. You know, because there was a severe thunderstorm and a tornado warning. So I'm like, oh, let me, try to not get my stuff zapped. And when I plugged it back in, that hard drive was dead. And that hard drive being dead caused the whole thing to hang at the motherboard screen. It's like, hey, press this button to go to BIOS, and it just hung there forever. And yeah, I had hey, our old buddy from college, Jonathan Harvell.
Yeah.
He actually offered to hop on a Facebook call, like messenger call with me, and we were on this call for like 2.5 hours while we tried to figure out what in the blue hell was going on. And wow. I did all kinds of things, and finally he goes, dude, I don't know, just unplug all your hard drives. And I unplugged all the hard drives, and it booted. And I was like, what? And when I plugged the solid state drive back in, it hung. And I was like, how does a dead hard drive cause that's not the booting hard drive cause everything to freeze? I thought computers were supposed to be made of like logic and make sense, and no.
No.
The computer problems that I keep having make no sense.
Yeah. Well, remember, computers are also based on electromagnetism, which, oof.
And as a physics person, I could punch you for talking bad about electromagnetism. How dare you besmirch its good name?
something alternating current versus direct current, something. Hashtag Tesla was right all along. I don't know. I'm just throwing out words now.
The guy, not the car. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, which is trying desperately to check things off of the damn list, because the list is massive and continues to grow rather than get smaller. And apologies again to all of the lifeguards for how long it's taken to get these odds and ends out, but I thought after enough time passed, that I would be able to listen to the Sweet Summer Children that was us from back then, and no, it doesn't get any easier. Hopefully they're not depressing for you guys, but they're depressing as hell for me, because I was, I can look back at the me that was talking back then and be like, oh, you poor stupid bastard. You don't even know how bad it's going to get. And
none of us knew.
it makes it really hard for me personally to listen through them. Like, like really hard. I have to be in the right mindset and force myself to do it anyway. But as we get further and further from 2020, hopefully it'll ease up some. Hopefully. So yeah, those will be coming. Like I said, there have been 4 or 5 I think have gone up now, or are scheduled to go up. By the time you're listening to this later, yeah, I've gone up, and I've got plans to get several more up. Yeah. But hey, speaking of the lifeguards,
Excellent segue.
thank you. I have to thank the Mythic Lifeguards, because that's one of the things that the Mythic Lifeguards get. So, let me thank... I don't even know what order. Let's do it in this order. Let me thank Al. Also, Al, thank you for Rogue Legacy 2. It is glorious. Kim Ho, Scuzzo. Also, Scuzzo, thank you for Vampire Survivors. It is glorious. John Parker, Jake Jansen's, Beardy Man, Timmy Hillis Haru, PJ McMullen, Violet Moon, The Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine, Jason Kaus, Andrew Hunt, Cody Buckowing, Casey, Gothic Man, Pinball Witch, Jason Doan, Mr. Dr. Lewis, Connor Kennedy, and ALK Alters. You should totally be following ALK Alters on Twitter, because he posts the pretty pictures that are alters, digital. Anyway, just do it. And with that, we're going to stop, because, it's late. So, this has been episode 650 of the Mana Pool. Thank you all so very much for listening, and tell us what's your background.